Welcome to Community Connections with Children's Services Council of St. Lucie County. I am but one of your hosts, Sean Boyle, and with me is
Ashley Mott.
And welcome to the half-hour radio. And today, once a month, thanks to a great partnership with WLX, the St. Lucie Education Channel, we are also a TV show.
It's very fancy.
It's very fancy. All about spreading, what the purpose of the show, all about spreading resources and things that there are to do for families in St. Lucie County. And we, clearly not being both TV hosts and or radio professionals, we work at the Children's Services Council, and at the Children's Services Council, we provide resources and programs to families in St. Lucie County that really fall into 5 categories. Those categories are: 1, making sure every baby's a healthy baby, stopping child abuse before it happens, keeping kids off the streets, keeping them in school, and keeping them off drugs, alcohol, and other risky behaviors.
It's almost like you're a professional. You did that well.
I'm a professional at Children's Services Council. We're working on the radio TV part of it.
So Sean mentioned those 5 categories that our programs are kind of focused into, and there's several different ways that you can learn more about those programs. The first one, obviously, is this awesome show, where we like to bring those programs on to tell you a little bit about what they're doing out in the community. But we also have a couple different ways that you can get in touch with us. One is our website, which is cscslc.org, and we've got descriptions of each one of those programs there along with their contact information, so you can kind of get an idea of what they do in the community. But we also have these really lovely family guides, and we have sort of condensed these over the years because we kind of took out the information we didn't think was really relevant and kept all the really good stuff in there to make it this really easy go-to guide for families. Again, it's got the program descriptions as well as contact information in there. So if there's anything that you are looking for your children or your family, all of it can be found in our family guide.
And we also have an app.
We do.
So if you're an Android or iPhone user, which is everybody except for me, I'm a Windows user, but if you are those, just go to your marketplace, the iTunes store, or is it the Android marketplace?
Yes.
And look up Children's Services Council or CSC SLC. I will tell you, all the Android users, you have to spell out Children's Services Council because your autocorrect will never let you find CSC SLC.
But the app is a great way, and it gives you that one-touch access to those programs. So if you are having a conversation with someone at church and they express to you that they're looking for an after-school program for their child, you can pull up the app, you can find all the after-school programs, and you can give them the phone number right there. It's really easy.
You can be the hero of the day.
That's right.
And it's really the purpose of the show, is to connect people to resources. And we always say this, and I apologize for not saying it at the beginning, but hopefully you're watching the show because you have children and you're interested in the resources. But maybe your children are all grown up. Maybe you're a grandparent, maybe you're an aunt, an uncle, or maybe you just have neighbors that have children. The more that we can connect people to the resources, the better the community can utilize those resources, and hence the better the community will be.
And I have to say, too, a lot of the guests that we've had on in the last couple of weeks kind of had a similar connection. They provide a service that's really connecting people to other programs and services in our community. And really, that's the kind of community that we want to live in, one where people are helpful resources, and that's what we aim to do with this show, is to really educate you about what's out there so that if you need it, you can use it, but you can also pass that information on to someone when they need to use it.
You put us out of business.
That's right. That'd be okay.
And TV show. Another great way to connect with us, and I actually saw this when we were walking in the studio, is Facebook. We have a great Facebook page. Look up Children's Services Council, St. Lucie County. Make sure you put in that St. Lucie County part, because there are other Children's Services Councils. And while we like them, we're especially fond of the St. Lucie one. We post on there nearly every day, both resources, inspirational messages, and things to do. So we have over 7,000 friends on Facebook. So join us.
We're not competitive at all, but we do have the most of all the Children's Services Councils. So don't tell them we told you that, but
it's a St. Lucie secret.
It's our little secret.
Every time we do the show, we always spend a couple of minutes talking about things that there are to do or quick resources. So do you want to start us off?
Yeah, so a couple things that we've talked about. One, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. And we have shared a lot of information on our Facebook page about the resources in our community that kind of fall in line with child abuse prevention. And one of those programs is CASTLE. CASTLE is a great friend of ours. They do a lot of really awesome work in not just St. Lucie County, but in the surrounding counties as well. But they have an event coming up, their Stomp Out Child Abuse 5K and 10K, though we don't like to talk about that, walk and run that's coming up on April 30th at Tradition Field. And we actually have a Children's Services Council team. So if you are interested in coming out to that event and walking a 5K with us, because that's
Strolling
what we'll
is
be doing.
more accurate. It's a nice leisurely stroll for us.
Yes. We'll be walking that 5K, and we do have a CSC team. So if you are interested in joining us, you can visit castletc.org. And when you register yourself, just find that drop-down CSC, and you can join our team. If you do join our team and you let us know that you've signed up to join our team, we'll make sure that we get you a team shirt so that you can be one of us on the day of the event.
And if you need to contact us, we have a lot of people that contact us on Facebook, especially if you join our team. You can call the office, which is 408-1100, or you can be live and interactive with us by texting my cell phone directly. Probably not right at this moment because we're on air, but my cell phone number, I had to look at what my cell phone number is. My cell phone number is 772-237-1130. Feel free to text if you joined our team, or if you have a question, or if you have a suggestion for the show. We're that interactive.
Yes. And it is your cell phone.
It is my cell phone. I
You
promise.
have to look
It's
at
my
it
cell
because
phone.
you don't call yourself.
It's
I
not
get it.
here on this table. They won't let me to answer text during the show. But and I will say, for the Stomp Out Child Abuse, how big is our team right now?
Maybe 5.
5. I haven't registered yet.
Okay, so 6.
So I know, I know for a fact that I believe it's only a $30 registration fee, and if you have children that want to walk or run, which I strongly encourage, 18 and under, it's only $15.
Yep.
So you can bring the whole family out.
It is a family event, and it's a really good time, and it's for a great cause. It's one of the things that helps Castle keep no or very low costs for the programs that they provide to the community.
It's actually no cost.
For our programs, yeah.
For our program. Oh, that's true. And if you know any parent that needs some help with parenting, or even if you yourself are a parent and you're like, hey, I want to be the best parent I can be, call the Castle at 465-6011. Again, 465-6011. They have several parenting support services available. The last event that we want to talk about, we're kind of going backwards chronologically.
That's okay.
Is the Family Reading Festival on April 23rd, again at Tradition Field, which is where the St. Lucie Mets play.
The place to be.
The place to be. And do you know the time of the Family Reading Festival?
I believe it's 11 to 3.
It's 11 to 3.
It's on our community calendar, I can guarantee that.
Right, if you go to our website, or we'll also post it on Facebook. And at the Reading Festival, they're going to obviously encourage reading. The first 300 families that come through get St. Lucie Mets tickets for that night's game, courtesy of the Children's Services Councils. The first 300 kids get goodie bags, and they also have a book exchange.
Yes.
So if you've got old books laying around your house, and you're probably like me, you're like hesitant to get rid of them because you're like, I'm going to read that book for a 4th time. You can bring those books, trade those used books in for new used books, and bring kids' books, adult books, everybody. But it's a reading festival to celebrate reading with children. So they're going to have Mother Goose.
Yep.
They're going to have, I think, bounce houses.
I don't know about that.
They're going to have face painting.
They definitely have face painting. It's a really good time. Food. We like food. Last year they also had characters,
Right.
lots of different characters dressed up. So it really is a great event, and it does encourage not just children's reading, but family literacy, sort of across the board. So it's a really good time.
And literacy is something that we talk about a lot on this show, and the importance of it. We've started in conjunction with about 12 faith organizations, little libraries to encourage reading. And it's a family event because obviously we want to encourage children to read by giving them books, but children are going to model what their parents and adults do. So we want to make sure that the parents are also reading as well so that the children see good role models.
That's right.
All right. Any other update?
I don't think so.
All right. So we have a special guest. I'm going to allow you to introduce the guest, but I'm excited about it because one, she's a great person. It's a great service that they provide, but we give out lots of numbers on this show.
We do.
I mean, in the 10 minutes that we've been on the air so far, we've given out at least 3 numbers, which I'm sure nobody has remembered. But this number that we're going to give out for this guest is so easy to remember that you can say it in your sleep.
That's right. It's the only one you have to remember. And we are really excited to have Randee Gabriel with us today from 211 Palm Beach Treasure Coast. And we're going to talk about 211 a little bit, but we're also going to talk about this really cool new kind of thing that you guys are doing. So I don't know if you first want to talk about 211, which is that special number that Sean talked about.
You gave it away right from the start.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know it was a secret. But 211, we used to joke that you call 911 in an emergency, and you call 411 when you need information.
About the pizza place right down the door.
Right. But you call 211 when you're looking for a resource. So can you kind of give maybe a better description of
Sure.
better than mine?
You don't think they're going to run with that one?
We kind of borrowed that. We say, if it's not 911, it's 211.
I like it.
We are an information referral and resource agency for social services in your community. If you're looking for, let's say you're looking for a food bank, or you're looking for rent assistance, electric assistance, social services, counseling, all you have to do is dial 211 and connect with our resource center, and they will find the resources in your center for you.
That's awesome.
I just had an idea.
Uh-oh.
I know, exactly. That's usually what people say. We give out hundreds of numbers on this show.
We don't have to.
Yeah, exactly. We can they could call 211 and say, I watched this show, they talked about parenting, and I think the name was Castle. You would connect them.
We would connect them to Castle. When you go to a resource fair and you're walking around to all the tables, all you need to do is come to 211's table, because we could connect you to all those resources sitting around
That is
the
true.
room.
That's very true. And, we talk a lot about when families are in crisis, or when, mom is at her wit's end, has to find an after-school program or something like that. It's hard to make that first call. It's often the biggest barrier to getting service is to make that first call. But how easy is it to dial 211 rather than having to, find the number or whatever it is? It's just a very kind of concentrated effort to assist that family with what they need.
And it's great that you said, when they finally get to that point, because, sometimes, they might get to that point at 9 o'clock at night. And to call an agency at 9 o'clock at night, you're going to get their voicemail. But to call us at 9 o'clock at night, you're going to get a real live person.
That's a very good point.
And I think our show airs around 9 o'clock and at 1 a.m. So that's perfect. It's 24 hours,
24
right?
hours a day, 7 days a week, we never close. If it's Christmas Day, Thanksgiving Day, or 2 in the morning, you can call 211.
That's
And you get a
awesome.
live person.
You get a live person.
That's excellent. And also 211 is also a crisis line. So if somebody is, you expressed at their wit's end, but thinking about even maybe harming themselves, they can talk to a professional counselor.
They can call 211, and we have a suicide prevention line.
So that's 211. That's what I think we've talked about 211 frequently on the show. I think that's what everybody knows about 211. But you are actually kicking off a new initiative. I don't want to say new because it's been around for almost a year now,
A
right?
little over.
A little over a year.
Yeah, it was. It was a year in this month.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna just as you gave a description of 211, I'm gonna give a description of what I think this
And then
is,
let Randee
and then you
fix
can correct it.
Okay.
So we talked about 211, how you can call for anything, but generally the people who need a lot of help, and I know this speaking from experience, I know that you know this now, is parents, particularly new parents of young children. So you kind of have like a warm parent hotline to handle everything that can need for a new parent. Is that a good description?
That's a great
Will that fit on a marquee?
Will you put a billboard up for us? 0 to 8. We serve families that have children 0 to 8. Early detection and intervention is critical for the optimal outcomes of children. And we do developmental screenings for children 0 to 8. And the difference between us and other agencies is a lot of people do developmental screenings, and they'll take the scores, and then they'll give them to, give a referral to the parent and send them on their way. We do a little bit more at Help Me Grow. We do the screening, and if there are concerns, we connect them with the agencies that can help them most in their area. But we don't stop there. We truly connect them. Sometimes we do a warm transfer where we do a 3-way call, or we do a direct referral to the agency, and then we follow up. We want to make sure that that family did connect with that agency, and when they did have that call, that they got what they needed. We follow up and make sure that they know what to bring to their next appointment. Why it's so important that they go to that appointment. There's so many no-shows at social services agencies, and through research, they have found that one of the main reasons is because people don't know why they need to go. Why do I need to take a day off to go to this appointment? Why is it so important? So we explain to them the importance of the program, of the referral, and of the next appointment. We follow up after the appointment to make sure that they went, they understand what happened, and to make sure if they didn't qualify for the program, that we look to connect them to other agencies so that they're just not sitting out there with one telephone number and nowhere else to go.
So if there's a mom, a dad, a grandparent, a caregiver, and they have a child that's 0 to 8 years of age, they can call. I mean, give us some examples of some of the calls that you generally receive.
We received calls from actually a mother that came into our call center and was about to be homeless and was calling for shelters. And the resource specialist gave her the information and then started to tell her about the Help Me Grow program, because she said she had 3 children. And we all know that being homeless is a risk factor for developmental delays or emotional and social, behavior problems. So she said that although she really appreciated it, that right now she had to concentrate on getting shelter for her kids, but she was very interested in the program and very concerned about how this was affecting them. And she told them that she would call us back. And the resource specialist asked if it would be okay if, we took her number, and if we didn't hear from her, we called her back in 3 to 4 weeks. And she said, sure. And we had her number, and about 3 weeks later, one of my Help Me Grow coordinators came in and said, remember that family? Remember that family? And I said, yeah. And she just called me. And I've set up an appointment to do screenings for all of her kids tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock over the phone. And she was so grateful. And she was the one that called back. The great thing about Help Me Grow is you don't have to leave your house. You can call, and we can do a screening over the phone. We use the ASQ3 and the ASQ-SE, which is probably ages and stages questionnaire, which is probably, foreign language to a lot of people, but it's a parent-driven tool. So it's developed so the parent could answer the questions, and we score the questionnaire, and then we can decide where the family needs to go. And a lot of times there are no concerns, but it's a great relief to that family that there are no concerns. Maybe they have an older child that has a disability, and they're very, very concerned that the younger sibling may be showing some signs. And so they call us, and we can do the screening, and we can either connect them to the appropriate agencies or put their mind at ease that right now they're not showing any concerns, which doesn't mean that in 6 months they won't be. And that's the other part of the program. We don't just do one screening. If we do one screening and there are no concerns and we're working with maybe a 9-month-old child, we ask permission to contact the family at the next interval of 6 months and do another screening, because we all know that a child at 9 months may not show a delay or a concern, but 6 months down the line, at 15 months, there may be some major concerns because the bars have raised as far as the developmental skills.
So this is a great resource. So for example, especially parents, first-time parents, you're kind of concerned, your second child, you're like, oh, they're going to be fine. But the first child, you're like, wow, should they be doing this at this age? Shouldn't he be trying to stand, he or she be trying to stand or crawl? They could call.
Absolutely.
And get that quick update and then go through the ages and stages questionnaire to make sure that child is on track developmentally. Now, I have experience with this with my own son because, he's 16 years of age. So obviously Help Me Grow wasn't there, but we caught something on the ASQ, the developmental stages, and he was in fact behind. So if a parent calls, obviously we clearly want it to be a clean, like everything
Absolutely.
looks good. Check in, we'll check in with you a little bit, down the road to make sure everything continues to be well. But if there is an issue, you have all the resources
Absolutely.
to hand them off to the right person.
We have all the resources. We have relationships with those agencies, and we can do direct referrals to those agencies. But a lot of times maybe they don't want an ASQ. Maybe their child's been kicked out of their 3rd daycare and mom's about to lose her job. Do we have, we don't have that magic wand where we can, find all the resources, but there are resources out there for families. Maybe that mom has some concerns because her child's not eating appropriately. Maybe she needs summer camp. So if you have a child 0 to 8 and you have concerns or you're looking for resources, the number to call is 211 Help Me Grow.
When you're talking, I was thinking to myself, we use this show to connect people to resources. And I mentioned that one of our categories is making sure every baby is a healthy baby. So we've devised this system of care, developed a system of care that starts with a nurse home visit, has the brain visit to do some of the developmental stuff. If there is an issue, we have early steps. We have healthy families for those families that maybe need a little bit more assistance. But really, and we all, obviously we want everybody to come in at the beginning of the system of care and work themselves through, but we know we don't get everybody at the beginning. You are really the funnel to catch any of those families 0 to 8 and then get them reconnected with the resources that are in the community.
Absolutely.
What I'm getting to is you should be doing this TV radio show.
No, that's quite all right. I'll let you handle that. Just have them call 211.
Randee is far too busy to be doing that. But, it is a good point that, whether or not we talk all the time, whether or not you need a service today, it might not be today, but tomorrow something might come up where you have a question about a program or a service. And how simple is it for you just to be able to call 211? That's it. That's it. That's all you have to remember.
How I wish when my kids were young that this was around.
Right.
Because I would have been on the phone to them the day I brought them home from the hospital. No.
So you said the program's been around for about a year. Do you know how many people have called in that time frame?
We didn't go live to April 28th. So it's been a slow start. We're averaging probably 35 to 40 screenings a month, which isn't a bad number. Yeah. It's a state initiative, currently in 27 counties.
Oh, okay.
So from I believe it's April to December of 2015, the program statewide has done over 3,700 screenings.
Wow.
And had 56.9 of those come back with concerns.
Wow.
So even though we're doing this great job, and we really are, my kids are 20 and 22, and I know the difference between now and 20 years ago or 10 years ago. We're doing such a great job identifying children and getting them services. We're still missing some kids. Kids move in, kids move out. They fall under the radar. And so that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we hit all of those children that aren't getting connected to other programs. Because by missing one child, that's one child's life. That's, it follows them throughout their entire life, the results of developmental delays.
Well, and when we talk about developmental delays, the earlier that you can identify them and the earlier that you can get them into treatment, and again, speaking from experience, my son went through physical, occupational, and speech therapy from the age of 18 months to 3 years of age. By catching it early, he was able to catch up and, it's still a little bit there, but it's mitigated a lot because we addressed it early. So it's so important.
Absolutely. Even financially, the latest Rand study on the savings for early intervention shows that for every dollar spent, you can save up to $17 in that child's lifetime.
So you talked about the number of screenings, and clearly you're coming on this radio TV show because you know the ratings are just going to, the volume calls are going to come in. I'm half joking, but seriously, we need to make sure, again, we give out a lot of numbers, we give out websites, all that stuff. 211 is so easy to remember. So I would strongly encourage, if you're, watching the TV show at 9 o'clock at night or 1 a.m., write down 211. If you're listening to the radio program, because again, it's a weekly radio program as well, and you're coming back from church or going to church, I guarantee you know somebody that has somebody 0 to 8 years of age. It doesn't hurt to make that call. Generally, how long does a call last?
The initial call, if you want a screening, will be between 20 and 30 minutes.
And
every child is worth 20 or 30 minutes.
We should also mention that. Is there a fee associated?
There's no fee.
So it's free. It's our favorite word.
It's not a toll number where you're going to get billed on your phone bill.
There's no cost to the family. And you can call. We have care coordinators in the office Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But if you want to call at 9 o'clock at night and have someone call you back the next day, we do that. That's the reason it's such a great place for this program to be, because you can call at any time to get information and to get a referral to the Help Me Grow program.
So that's important, because we talked about 211, how you could literally call 24 hours a day. So you can call and say, I want to be part of the Help Me Grow. And even though the counselors may not be there, they'll take down your name, number, and probably the best time to call you back.
Absolutely.
Easy.
That's
Simple.
easy.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That is awesome. So, and talk about a little bit about the coordinators. So you have, they're not just phone answers who refer. They actually experts in this field.
Yes, they are. We have right now 2 Help Me Grow coordinators, and one has an extensive background in early childhood development. She retired from the Palm Beach County School District in the 3 to 5-year-old arena, where she worked. She was the program manager, I believe, for the pre-K disabilities program.
Oh, wow.
So she has a wealth of information. And then our other program coordinator has retired from the mental health field. So we've got the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And I always say I hit the lotto when it came to staff, and we feel very fortunate. And even our resource center specialists, they go through 120 hours of a very intensive training to become certified as 211 specialist.
So I know we have a lot of listeners, particularly on the radio side of it, that attend church, and I would strongly encourage. And I'm wondering, Randee, how do they get a hold of you? So, for example, it's such an easy number, 211. Call it, for services if you're, or call if you're a new parent, 0 to 8, to perhaps advertise in their church bulletin, for example. Is there a way that if somebody's interested in kind of partnering with you to market,
Absolutely.
do they call 211 to get a hold of you?
I could give you a 10-digit number, but they could just call 211 and ask to speak to Randee from Help Me Grow.
How easy is that?
Right. But I think it's so important. We've been trying to partner and have been partnering with Randee and 211 to get the word out, but it's such an easy number to memorize, and it's so easy to promote that, we all have a vehicle to promote, whether if you're on Facebook, and I know you're on Facebook, or if you have a church bulletin or a work newsletter or something to promote it, we all need to.
Absolutely.
Because again, if we can catch that kind of stuff early, particularly the 0 to 8 developmental issues, it's a better path moving forward for that child and that family.
Yep.
Early detection is key, right?
Early detection is optimal for the best results. It's the only way to go.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Is there any other updates with 211? You also have a website.
We have a website, yes, and it is www.211treasurecoast.org.
That's
Nice.
easy too.
So if it's 1 a.m. and you're not comfortable calling at 1 a.m., you can jump on the website.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're always there. You can always call us.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Fun, right?
Yeah.
All right, we're about out of time. Do you have anything you want to add?
Nope, just a reminder, we'll make sure that all this information is on our website and on the Facebook page so you can get to it if you need to refer. If you can't remember 211, we'll make sure that you see it again.
And if you can't remember that number that we just gave out, 211, but you can remember this number, which is my cell phone, 772-237-1130, to send us a text, either a question update of what we just talked about, or if you have a suggestion for a show topic, or just suggestions for the show in general. We'll take it all. Text us at 237-1130, and don't forget, if you feel like walking with us for a good cause on April 30th, the Castle's Stomp Out Child Abuse. If you want to run it, we'll applaud you. 5K or 10K, we'll be walking though. But go to
TC.org.
to register. Make sure you register for Children's Services Council and let us know that you did so we can get you a t-shirt.
Yep.
All right, we are out of time. We want to thank you for tuning in and listening and viewing. And a reminder that, one, it's a weekly radio show on 104.5 The Flame at Sundays at 10 a.m. And it's a TV show on WLX. And remember, it's our children, our community, our future. We're all in this together. We'll see you next time.